Hey everyone, we are down here at what was formerly the Chiquita Lock, and this is the Unblock the Lock party. So, just getting started. I'm going to turn this around. It's exciting.
This is a major step forward improving our community's water quality, environmental health, and voting access. If you haven't come to join us under the tent, we're going to be starting the ceremony now, so please gather around and join us in this celebration. Today marks a major milestone in the South Spreader Waterway Enhancement Project, an initiative that has been a long-term coordination, a year that has been an initiative for years in the making. This achievement reflects the hard work and long-term coordination of city staff, as well as the leadership and vision of city council members past and present, including some who are here with us today. We'd like to take a moment to recognize and thank Tom Hayden, Dan Shepard, and Gloria Tate. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Your part in this project is important. We would also like to thank our current City Council members, Rachel Kaduk, Bill Steinke, Joe Kilrain, Keith Long, Lori Lehman, Dr. Derek Donnell, Jennifer Nelson Lastra, and our City Mayor, John Gunter. So please, thank you. Now please rise and join me in welcoming Mayor John Gunter, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. I want to welcome everyone here today, residents of our community leaders from the past and present, and the voters. I know there's a lot of voters in this group, so the voters that and the residents that definitely wanted to see this project through. It was a long journey, decades in the making, that has brought us to a successful removal of the lock, and also some environmental improvements that we'll be making as well. Why was the Chiquita Lock originally installed? In the mid-1980s, the Chiquita Lock was constructed at the mouth of the South Spreader Canal. The primary goal was to protect the water quality, manage stormwater runoff, and from the Cape Coral's rapid growth canal system, helping safeguard Matlachaise Pass and the Caloosahatchee River. The lock was also intended as an environmental safeguard, following the development practices that threaten our local estuaries. Over the years, modern stormwater management replaced the lock's functions, new technologies, the city's sanitary and sewer systems, and advanced environmental protections had made the structure obsolete. Eventually, it was determined that the water behind the lock was cleaner than the water out in the river. Voters have long voiced their frustrations with the delays and congestion of the lock over the years, especially during season. Safety and maintenance became a significant concern as the lock aged, and the tragedy with the lock for the responsible for many deaths with our several manatees and a variety of boat damage accidents. In 2006, the city began to explore the possibility of removing the lock. In 2016, 10 years later, the city applied for the removal permit to have the lock removed, but its first attempt to removal was denied following an administrative law judge recommendation. In 2020, the city made another attempt. We knew how important this was for our city. Our previous city leaders, our future city leaders that were serving at the time, all knew that how important this was for our city. And we continued our goal to have this facility removed. And we voted for our city management and our city attorney to continue on that goal. During that time, studies revealed that the lock had been left open after Hurricane Ian, There was a lot of critics that said, well, if we open the lock, we leave it open, the sky's going to fall or the river's going to rise. But actually that didn't happen. So really that did us a service when Hurricane Ian hit, because then we had data to be able to provide in order to show that there would not be any adverse effects if we did remove the lock. In 2024, a judge determined the lock was inoperable, was a hazard to boaters and to the wildlife, and was no longer necessary to achieve the environmental protections that the lock had originally was designed for. The removal was made possible through strategic planning, community engagement, and a tireless pursuit of legal and regulatory approvals. The project was completed quicker than expected. It reopened ahead of schedule in June of this year. And I can tell you, during that time when this project was going on, I was down here probably every other day just to see what was going on, speaking with the contractors that were here working. They were exceptional, kept me up to date the whole time. I live close by. I go through this lock as a boater like many of us do. So it was an important project to make sure that it was staying on schedule, and it was. The removal of the structure is just one part of the South Spreader Waterway Enhancement Project. Not only were we removing the lock, we were doing waterway enhancements as well, planting over 3,000 mangroves, installing oyster reef balls to support marine life, and citywide dredging permits for canal maintenance in the area. Removal will prevent further manatee deaths previously that occurred here at the lock operations. New mangroves and oyster reefs will improve the aquatic habitats and benefit the ecosystem for years to come. For boaters, these efforts provided improved navigation, better access to the Gulf, and no more waiting in line at the lock, especially during season. This project also enables faster emergency response time by eliminating bottlenecks and hazard for our rescue craft. Waterway enhancement will also improve our recreational opportunities here in the city of Cape Coral. I would like to take this time to thank all of the residents that was a part of the removal of this lock. This wasn't just, let's give them a round of applause. This was not just a city effort, this was a community effort. And I think this is a perfect example of when the community and the city can come together and for a common goal and see that project through. And many times a variety of projects in the city, there's some pushback. We had some pushback with this one from some environmental concerns. But when we all come together as a community, I think we can achieve anything. And this is just a testament of that. I want to thank not only the current council, all the previous council members from 2006 on. Like you heard today, we had some of them here today. We had the former council member Tom Hayden, Gloria Tate. We have Dan Shepard. I think we have Bobby Welch. I saw him walk in. Let's give them a round of applause. It's because of their leadership and their desire to see this through that we're standing here today. So there's many people to thank, not only the residents, our city staff, our city attorney's office for being diligent and pushing this through, our former and current city council, and our community. So just a round of applause for everyone that was involved. I'd like to thank also Wright Construction, all the subcontractors. If I was down here every other day talking with them and I was a pain, I just want to apologize publicly for that. So it's a great project. It's a great result. Now I'm pleased to help welcome the president of Wright Construction Group, who was the individuals or the organization that saw this project through. So with that, I'd like to introduce Fred Edmond.
My speech is not near as formal or prepared as the mayor's, which you will appreciate because it'll be dramatically shorter. Not to say his was too long.
I can read between the lines.
But, no, sir. So if there was one word that we wanted to use for today, it's grateful. Grateful for so many things. Grateful for an incredible canal now that is free to be used by the boaters without restriction. So what a blessing that is to the entire city of Cape Coral. We're grateful for the team that we had with AIM Engineering and Kelly Brothers. So in addition to my staff, the city staff, AIM and Kelly Brothers, literally collaborating together, working before we even put the price together for the city, pre-planning what could happen. Because as the mayor said, there were a lot of things that could have happened during the course of construction that we had to make sure that we planned for. So we planned for those. We had contingencies prepared just in case those things happen. But praise the Lord, none of those things, well, minimal of those types of things happening during the course of construction. And as a result, we literally finished the project over 4 months early, and with a resulting savings of over 15% of our contract being returned. I love being able to be the guy that comes and delivers good news, right? That's the fun part. But you as the city and as the residents get to enjoy the benefit of that. So we're grateful to each of the city staff, the mayor, the city council that allowed us the privilege of working here. And not to forget one of my key bosses, I'd like to invite now Mike Ilchism, city manager, to come to address you.
Good morning. Thank you all for being here. 2006. I started with the city in 2002. I was at the water plant, and as soon as I graduated with my undergraduate, I moved into public works administration. And I could tell you that there are some key citizens that stood by this project for as long as I've been working on it. And I want to point out a couple of them. Steve Crane. In 2006, the city was looking at expanding Santa Barbara to 6 lanes and Del Prado extension north of Pine Island Road, or north of Pine Island Road. And I remember my first introduction to Mr. Crane, we had a debt service that we were issuing to do that project. And he came to city council and he said, I don't understand why you all are putting money into Pine Island Road when we have transportation issues at the Chiquita Lock. And I thought to myself, well, that's strange because road impact fees can't be used for waterways. But ever since then, Steve has written emails. He has been in constant contact with administration and city councils throughout this entire project and never backed down from the goal of having the lock removed and improving the waterway access and environmental. So Steve, thank you for your tenacity. There's one other resident I'd like to point out. Ron, I know you're back there. Ron also, throughout the decade, almost nearly 2 decades, has been in constant contact with city staff about the functionality of the lock and the safety. Anytime a screw came off the lock, anytime the fence leaned more than 1 degree, we knew about it. And his entire goal was, until we can get this down, how do we keep this thing safe? Because over the years, it just kept degrading and degrading and degrading. And so, Ron, I want to thank you for being a citizen eye on what was happening here throughout the entire time we were working on it. So thank you all for being here. Today we're celebrating the early and successful removal of the Chiquita Lock, an important step toward improving infrastructure, navigation, and waterway access in Cape Coral. This project took years of planning, technical analysis, and public input, with diligent coordination from the Florida Department of Environmental Protection and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers after we received our approvals to move forward. These agencies recognized the lock no longer served its original purpose and its removal as part of the South Spreader Waterway Enhancement Project would bring real benefits to both our community and the environment. After completing environmental and construction planning, we closed the lock in April. Thanks to strong project management through Wright Construction, it was fully removed by mid-June, ahead of schedule and in full regulatory compliance. That kind of performance is no accident. It's the result of great teamwork and precise execution. I want to thank our Public Works Capital Improvement Projects team, along with Wright Construction Group and our state and federal partners for making this milestone today possible. The removal is a cornerstone of the broader South Spreader Waterway Enhancements Project, which will continue with the installation of a 165-foot seawall you see behind us, planting of mangroves, placement of oyster reef balls, and preparation for future dredging and shoreline restoration. These efforts align with our Cape Compass strategic plan and reflect our commitment to building smart, resilient infrastructure that supports Cape Coral's continued growth. We're proud of this work and excited for what's next. Thank you all.
Real quickly, while I was listening to our city manager, I noticed one other individual that I'd be remiss not to mention, Councilmember Lois Welsh. I didn't see you here earlier, but she was also a part of the decision-making to make sure that we continue to push this project forward, so thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor and Mr. Elchison. Now it is time to make this official. Can we please have the mayor and members of City Council please come up to the ribbon and we will cut the unblock of the Chiquita Lock. The Chiquita Pass, I like that. Right over here behind the ribbon.
Why don't we invite the former council members that are here today? Why don't you come up as well?
Yes, they will. How are you?
Okay, once we have everybody in position, I want you to bring your eyes to our photographer in the middle, waving her hand with the blue hat and the blue top. She will be your focal point for this image. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much. Thank you all for being here today, and to all of the vendors from Cape Harbor who